We are live. Annette?
Roll call. Tom Schra.
Yep.
Jason Whirling.
Here.
Beth Collins-Fisk.
Here.
Dave Waddington.
Here.
Sherry Waddington. Bernie Seiler.
Here.
Devin Johnson. Tondra Frisbee. Annette.
With a meeting that
Gotcha.
was already scheduled.
Annette Slett here. Sean Coakley.
Here.
Barb Rose.
Barb?
Larry Wren.
All right, let's go for July minutes. Any corrections, deletions? If not, a motion.
I move we accept.
Motion by Bernie,
Second.
second by Beth, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll start off with our August meeting. We're a week late just because of some time off, but we have some announcements to make, including the addition of Chris Mailing, who's sitting next to Mr. Schra. Chris Mailing is joining us as a Recreation Projects Manager, plethora of experience. And Chris, you want to introduce yourself and kind of tell us all about yourself? I think people in the room already know Chris, but in case you don't.
Born and raised here in this wonderful city of Sandusky, and I have over 25 years of experience in the recreation field, 20 years with YMCAs across the country, and then most recently with the city of Rocky River, and along with the Lakewood YMCA. Was involved with both of those projects in building their recreation facilities. So when I heard about the opportunity that Sandusky has here, I was all about coming back home and making that come to fruition, because the residents deserve a recreation facility. And I want to make that, and the team, we want to make that happen. So glad to be back, and I'm looking forward to getting my feet wet and get going.
And as you know, we have a rec center project that's going to be the next 3 to 5 years, hopefully sooner rather than later. So that's going to be awesome. We have a lot of projects that have kind of been on hold with different things that had happened with pandemic. So we'll get those projects going, including the skate park and tennis courts, Bernie, and some of those other smaller projects that we have in the hopper. So Chris and I did a little tour of town yesterday. He started Monday. I had a tour of what the facilities on Monday, some of the other facilities, and then.
Yeah, Monday was basically just the parks, and then yesterday, it was a good 2.5 hours with Jason, but it was good to see some of the facilities and the great things that are going on over at Mill School in particular. What a great opportunity for the residents and then the recreation department. I can't wait to start helping Jason with all the ideas that he has with programming and opportunities over there for that community in particular.
And your mom used to work in the kitchen.
And Mom used to work in the kitchen.
At Mills.
At Mills.
Awesome. Any questions for Chris, or we can get going with the regular meeting?
Welcome aboard.
We'll talk a little bit about some of the other changes in the division and new business. So we do have one guest. Bill.
I'm not a guest.
We just have to put you down on the minutes that we. Okay. So we do have Bill's in here, and then we can get started with old business.
Old Business Advisory Committee, we actually did meet. I'm compiling all the information. Bernie Seiler, Tom Schra, Tim McKenna, Alex Osh from Planning, and Aaron Klein from Public Works were with that. We toured Mills. We kind of went through everybody. Bernie gave me a wish list of improvements, as did Tim McKenna, who was unable to make the meeting, so we kind of looked through that. We kind of had some conversations about upgrades and things that we'd like to see happen out there, and then I was able to take Alex and Aaron around. We kind of looked at each building and those types of things, showed them some of of the areas where we know need improvement. You know, obviously, we know some of our senior tee boxes need to be fixed. We talked about the cart pass. We talked about all of the things that we have created this list. I was a little busy the last couple of weeks, so we're going to reconvene. We're going to reconvene with another meeting, probably within the next, I'm going to send out a meeting reminder next week. I really want to get the ball rolling on this so we can start this 5-year plan. I think it's really important that we do this sooner rather than later.
Any questions?
I will be sending out a survey to all of our membership. They will get that. We'll have it both ways. We'll have it via email where they can do through our IT, they'll set up one, and then I'll have a paper copy for those people who don't want to complete it, so we can compile some of their information. We found that they've been giving us a lot of great ideas on upgrades that they'd like to see at Mills, so we're just going to take some of their suggestions too.
Maybe some additional cameras out there.
Yeah, might need those. We do have, the carts have been delivered, so we have 12, the 12 new carts are there. So we are sending those ones out first. Those are going out in circulation first.
And
Question.
anything else with golf course?
Tom or Bernie, do you guys want to add anything on the advisory? Your thought processes or anything?
Those carts are the least ones, you're saying you send those out first?
The least ones, correct.
That's a good thing.
Yes, we're sending those ones out first. They are fuel-injected ones, so they don't have a choke. So we're trying to monitor to see about with their gas, how many rounds we're going to get on them as well, so. And I will get with Michelle from Finance to see how much we actually saved, because we circulated out the electric carts when we had them. I want to see what the difference in our electric bill was.
Well, it's a nice addition for sure, 12 new carts.
Right. I'd love to have a complete fleet.
Long overdue.
Yeah, they are.
And then, next on the list was Sandusky Rec at Mill School. I was out of town for Safety Town, but I saw all the photos and all the compliments and everything. That it looked like it was another
It was great.
awesome event over at the school, and
Yep.
guys got together and painted, the Friday before, so Sean didn't have to do it.
Yep.
So we're looking
It was a
for,
plus.
if you want to follow or let everyone know how
Sure.
that went. Yeah.
We had Safety Town, which was 4 days. We worked, Monday was fire safety, Tuesday was police safety, and Wednesday was just a variety of safety. We had Red Cross was there doing disaster preparedness. We did railroad safety, bus safety. We had STS and the school buses. Ted Peters came in and did the bus safety, so he drove the kids around town a little bit, which he was going to take them all the way to Ontario, but he just didn't have enough time. So they came back. We had that, and then we had animal safety with Humane Society. And like I said, we ended up graduating 102 kids, 4, 5, and we did 4, 5, and 6 years old, which I think that's a good age gap anyways. Even if you're a 6-year-old and you haven't gone to Safety Town, you need that refresher component as well. And then the graduation, we had the littles in the little chairs, and then we set up 150 chairs. All of the chairs were full, and we had people standing. And then people brought their own chairs as well. So I'm saying probably 200 spectators were there for the graduation. So it was cute. Yeah, it was a nice little thing. We allowed them afterwards to go into town, and they could take their parents and show their parents. Thanks to Sean,
Yeah, my homework on Monday
Monday and Tuesday.
Monday night was building a railroad crossing. So from 4 until about 10 at night, I was, the first night, trying to put it together.
But it wasn't in your kitchen.
It was not in my kitchen.
Right.
That was the second night.
That's the second night.
Because it was too large to be painted in my basement. But I think, again, the kids had a good time, and I think they learned a lot, and there was a lot of collaboration with all the different agencies in town, which Annette's illustrated, and again, it's going to continue to grow.
Do we have an idea how many kids incoming at each year or each class for Sandusky of,
I don't,
like?
In terms of our enrollment?
First
yeah.
kindergarten?
Kindergarten.
I haven't seen those numbers for this year, but typically we're, and maybe Beth can help me with that better than I can. I mean, because obviously the ages change a little bit as they get into first grade, the numbers. But we
102 is a
probably
good
180 to
percentage.
200 minimum.
Majority of them were from Sandusky. We had a few from the outliers, but the majority were all Sandusky
And I know
residents.
they had some people trying to, who were on the wait list, and then some more folks trying, last minute found out about it for whatever reason. But I think it'll probably have to have additional sessions next year.
Right.
And that's the goal, is to be able to
Yeah.
open it up to, even when Weber asked to have it opened up to more area schools in the
Right.
county. Yeah, so.
Yeah, we actually had 10 on the wait list. We actually got all 10 of them in, and then we did actually take some, we had a couple just drop-ins, and we were able to get them in as well. What we did is, the nice thing about Rec Desk, I can send all this information out, and please, I said, we have a wait list, could you let me know if your child is not participating? So then we were able to fill that way. So, yeah, we had help from the Leading Ladies from Sandusky, Gentlemen's Club from Sandusky, and then NHS from Sandusky as well. So next year, I'd like to do that a little bit differently. I'd like to get the volunteers more, I'd like every little to have a big, so they would have a partner, because it does help. We had about 10 per group, and our groups were groups of 25, but I'd like them to have one individual that this little one can relate to for the whole time that they're there. I really want to do a focus out, like to you, Beth, get them out to yours. 10 or 11-year-olds are fine. They're good with the little ones. They're perfect.
They would love that, just that, to give that.
To get-
Like to give back to.
Yep.
The kids that are younger than them, because they don't get to see those kids.
Correct.
Like they used to.
And I know in my past world, what we did is we just had them complete an application, and then they had to get a reference letter. So they could come to like you as a teacher, and it's nice because then you can learn a little bit about the kids too themselves. Also teaches them how to, and we treated it like an application, so I'd like to institute that for next year. So I'd love to work with you at the school.
And you think we'd keep it the same week after Touch a Truck next year? Is that, or just, we'll still talk about it?
You know what, I think logistically, I think it's a good idea. Typically, safety towns are usually in June, typically. But I do like it this way because they're getting ready to go into school. So, you put them right on a bus. So within a week's time, then they're going to be able to ride a bus, and then they're going to remember that. So I do like that. Like I said, we would just have to rely on the younger volunteers more so than the high school kids, because you lose all the football players, volleyball players, all of those. I did have a couple of them, like I think, Sean, they were your cheerleaders that came. They had practice early, and then they were able to come over and help out. But I do like that time frame. We were very fortunate. The weather was very cool, and the other thing, that's why we moved graduation outside, because that is a very warm building in the gym.
Yeah.
And it worked out perfect. Being outside, it was really kind of neat. But I would like to keep it that week if we could. Now, our other situation is if it grows so big, then we have to do a second one. Then we have to rely on our agencies who we're bringing in to provide these sessions. Do we do it a week, 2 weeks?
Or an afternoon session, or, yeah.
Yeah.
Gets warm, yeah.
It gets warm, and then your issue is just having those individual agencies having to give up that whole entire day. So that's their time as well, so. So those are great problems to have, in my opinion, because then it's showing growth.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good thing that we encountered. Idealistically, I probably would not go 100 kids again. It was quite quite fun. I would say, I would think 80 would be a nice number to cap it, because then you have groups of 20. 20 are a pretty good manageable number. 25, you add 5 more kids to the mix, and it can get kind of haywire, so.
Especially when they all show up.
And they did. We had the attendance rate was very good for that event, so like I said, overall, I was very pleased. I was pleased with the content. I was pleased with the curriculum that we put into place. Police and fire were all on board. And like I said, I think it was, I think it was very good.
And you have my great niece and my great nephew.
Oh.
And they absolutely loved it.
Perfect.
They went to come home and tell everybody about what they learned.
Well, I'm glad to hear
So
that.
they were ecstatic, so.
Awesome.
And in 40 years, they'll tell stories about how they went to Safety Town.
You do.
We've got a
You
Safety
do.
Town story.
You definitely do. And actually, Mr. Seiler got to come over and see us. He stopped over and visited, so.
I witnessed Annette's presentation, and obviously it was very good. I'm amazed at Sean's skill to put together something like that for that.
I like to continue to surprise you, Mr. Seiler.
I didn't know that you were responsible for that. It was very nice.
Well, thank you.
But, I go back, David and I go back to our experience at Safe Town, and things have changed so much, obviously, and there's so many different things that went on, and the bus, I think the bus thing was great. For a kid that young to be able to get on a bus and experience that, I mean, that had to be one thing.
Oh, shit.
I got to ride a bus.
Loved it.
I mean,
Well, it probably takes out the jitters too on the first day of school when it pulls up. I already did this. I know
Ted
this.
Peters, he's such a great guy.
Yep.
It was really good. And I was there with a couple people from Whiteman Weaver, obviously Kevin Lutz and Gene Kidwell, and they're so much on board with the sponsorship of that, and that it just plays right into what they're looking to do, and it's all good.
Yeah.
It's very good.
And if that wasn't enough, in the past month, we've had that small event, Touch a Truck.
It's the small event, Touch a Truck. That was Tuesday, the first Tuesday, that'd be August 2nd. We had 23 community agencies who had tables. I think that's the largest number we have ever had for agencies. We had 3 fire departments with a total of 7 vehicles, 7 police agencies, and I think they were at like 18 vehicles. We received over almost $7,000 in sponsorship, which we know will cover the cost of our super games that we brought in, which this year were great, and our porta pots and any type of advertising that we did. We had volunteers from First Federal Credit Union. They actually brought 9 volunteers who pretty much stayed from 3 o'clock through the end of the event, and we had Gentlemen's Club, and Sherry was helping out with that. I would estimate 3,000 people,
It didn't
easy.
rain.
Because we did expand it onto Water Street, we put fire up there. I spoke with those guys, and they said they were busy from 4 o'clock until 7 o'clock nonstop. And it was every aisle. The nice thing about expanding it, that you weren't so tight and packed in, that every aisle had room, and kids could experience the police cars or the fire trucks and all the extra vehicles. So I think our vendors did well.
Yeah.
We put some vendors on the hill, we put some vendors down, and then we did have some over on the pier. My only suggestion is that some people said maybe we try a different movie next year.
Yeah.
Because we've done Cars.
Yeah.
But,
Well, they haven't come out with trucks yet.
yeah, I know.
Cars 2, and planes.
Cars 2, but yeah, I don't know, maybe we can find out, I don't know, but that was just a suggestion.
The movie was down, the people that showed up for the movie, and maybe it's because it was Cars 2,
Yeah.
or it's because they were so tired from walking around Touch a Truck.
Right. But no, overall, I think that, obviously, the location with the expansion was good.
Did the hot air balloon on the pier, so that was a
I heard the pictures were great of
Yeah.
that. It made a really nice back setting for
quick
that.
photo op, but then the wind kind of turned on it, and they had to take it down pretty quick, so it was down by the time the movie started.
And I think one thing we just need to reevaluate, we just had one boat come in, and they didn't get much traffic down there.
Yeah.
So we may want to consider not doing the boats I mean, obviously, the year before, we were over on Miggs, and we had one boat come in.
Yeah.
But that may be something we just want to reevaluate. Maybe they just
More
won't.
trucks, just more trucks.
Yeah, more
Maybe a
trucks.
helicopter. We'll try to get a helicopter back next year, too.
Yeah, but like I said, we got a lot of positive feedback, especially from the vendors. I liked where they were placed. Obviously, we were just trying to keep everybody consolidated, and, they couldn't get themselves to their locations.
Great job on both those fronts. Those were
Thank you.
two major things that came back.
Back to back,
Yeah.
baby.
Any questions on those? Old business? Oh, we just a follow-up on today, we had a Pipe Creek camp earlier today, which was our wildlife at Pipe Creek. It was a 2-day in the past, now we did a 1-day quick 4-hour camp today. Only had about 6 kids sign up for that, but got them out in the water on kayaks, and then also they did a nature hike with Erie Metro Park, so they had a good time out there. Trying to build that camp up. We might have charged a little bit too much for that one, so we'll look at that for next year. I can jump into new business if everybody's ready for that. So with the addition of Chris to our team, we are also adding a recreation admin assistant because we are combining, coming over to the recreation division, sort of how other parks and recreation departments have, is we're going to have the grounds maintenance guys, the greenhouse, and also what's called like public realm. So the guys you would see cleaning around downtown. They help out with the parks. They set up for the shelters when we have reservations in the shelters. Those 3 groups are coming over into the recreation division, so we'll be more of a parks and recreation department. That includes, like I said, the greenhouse, grounds maintenance, and then that public realm side. So with that, we're getting an admin assistant to also help with the overwhelming Mylander Pavilion that's become its own beast, which we knew it would, with reservations, and then working the events around those reservations. So I'm already getting requests for 2024, 2025. I told them that 2024 opens up January 1 of 23. So in the past, our park shelters weren't open until January 1 for that year. We've got a lot of brides, and we have a lot of bridezillas too that need to plan at least a year out. So they've been asking, and we've got that calendar set at least for our events, so then we can work on scheduling weddings, graduation parties, birthday parties, class reunions. All those things are just going nuts for next year, because every weekend is, if we can tell if we had reservations in it over the weekend, because then Monday I get calls and emails saying, I need to book this, and it's just become like I said, a beast in itself. So we will get all those scheduled out. So we'll be hiring somebody here within the next couple weeks, and they will be at Mill School. We've got an office there, and I will eventually be over to Mill School. I'm still over at 222 Megs. I'm the last recreation person left over there, and they're wanting to get me out so they can start the Justice Center project ASAP. So by the next meeting, I'll have my office over at Mills as well. Any questions on that? What's going on with the ice rink?
Vista Bank Ice Rink, we did send out an RFP for that. It came back. There was one proposal that we received. It was from Global Synthetic Ice. I am attempting to reach out to their references so I can get some feedback information. I have not heard anything back from them, so I am actually going to reach out probably to this company tomorrow to see if they can give me somebody else that I could speak to. There is one in Jackson Township that they have one in there. their reference sheet was a little vague. It didn't give me when they installed or when they, sold this rink to them, so I just was really curious. I was going to call Brazil, but I didn't think that would probably be a good idea, because that was one of their references, was in Brazil, so.
You might have to go check it out.
I might have to go. There you go. I might have to take a field trip to Brazil. So we did get one. It was for the size rink that we did request, with dasher boards, all of the information, with the add-ons. The only difference is it is not a tongue and groove one like we had put out in our RFP. It is an interlocking one, but they also, with their interlocking, they also included an underlayment. So I'm assuming the underlayment allows for that cushion, but I'm not really quite sure, so that's one of my concerns that I'd like to go ahead and have explained to me before we make any decision. I know when we opened it, Megan had said that we would be getting in contact with that company once we've done our due diligence and our research on that. So, and then they did the add-ons, all the additional add-ons, the heaters and all of those things. So all of that was there. So,
And we can use the skates on real ice too after.
You can.
Yeah.
100 skates, and I was spot on with that. That was, I said $10,000. It was $9,999, so, for 100 skates. A sharpener was included. Those were things that we definitely had to have. This rink does do the conditioner. So it does do the cleaning, and then you would do a conditioner on it as well. So that was the difference of what we had last year, because the last year one, we just basically did just a squeegee off and then that way. So it did come in under than what we anticipated, so I was very happy with that amount. So stay tuned. As I get some more information, we'll come back with that one. Tom, do you want me to do my Mills update while I'm here?
Yeah, you might as well.
Okay, so you do have two reports from me. You have the Mills Creek revenue comparison. The month of July was $46,357 was our revenue that we brought in. In comparison, it was almost $5,000 more than last year. I did just do a report today of last year of August 1 through yesterday, and we're about $5,000 more than last year again. So we are bridging the gap that we lost in April, because April was so cold. So right now, our year-to-date total is, through July, was $142,377.25, and I will tell you right now, August, we're already at about $28,000 in revenue that we've brought in. Next week, I'm going to do the passes, that you can start to sell the passes for next year, that you can finish out this year on that and get next year's pass. So we are going to start that. People are chomping at the bit to buy them, so I think that's going to be a good thing. I would also like to ask the board to set a time that we can meet to review fees for next year. Tom? So I'd like to see if we could do that, so we can get that, so we can get it onto commission. Because people are already asking what the fees are going to be next year. And just due to some things like gas and those types of things, we may want to look at some of that. So I'd like to have that probably go to commission September, if I could. So, and I know in past time it's been you, myself, and our clubhouse manager, Tom Gerard. Okay. And then just finally, the other one is just our breakdown of all of our categories. I will let you know, we had our first shootout yesterday, our SBC shootout. It was which division is
River?
that, Chuck? River Division. The River Division, 10 teams, 6 kids per team, 60 kids. We did a shotgun start. Everything was smooth. They actually got off at about 10 minutes to 1. They were off the course by about 20 minutes after 3, and they were gone from this facility by like 3:45. It was great. Everybody was very happy. The schools were. We put out the schedule ahead of time so they knew where they were starting. We just know a couple of things that we need to maybe have a few more people on the course to guide kids to where they're going on their holes they're starting on. But Sean, you can let them know when you go to the meeting that as a golf course, we really do like that format.
Yeah, one of the things that obviously is common amongst all the golf courses that the different SPC schools use is availability. And so most golf courses prefer that we go to this format so that their golf course is more available, larger amounts of time. And obviously during the week, during the day, isn't as busy a time for golf courses as it is in the evenings and all that. So yeah, this is kind of the path that is what we went down as a league, and we think it's going pretty well, and I'll share that out with the SBC. I know we have our shootouts coming up soon, and that is a golf term, by the way. We didn't create it.
Yeah.
Just
Are
saying.
they doing 9 or 18?
9.
They're doing 9. Okay.
Yeah.
And is that what they
Usually
do?
just the invitationals, Bernie, are 18, correct?
Correct, no question.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything else is not.
Everything else is 9, but
So
the
when they play other
invitationals.
courses, they're only playing 9 of them?
Yep.
9 if it's like that, but unless it's an invitational, and
Yeah,
the
like JGA
invitational,
type
yeah,
stuff.
or 18,
Tournament.
yeah.
Yep.
So, but like I said, so we had, we spaced, the pace of play was really good. Obviously, we doubled up on our number 1 golfers and our number 2 golfers, because obviously there should be your better golfers, and then your bottom half, we had them single holes. So the pace was really, like I said, it was good. Course is in really good shape, so that helps. And we'll see how we have our, the Sandusky ones are a 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock
Yeah,
start.
because ours fell within the schedule after school starts.
Right. So this one we were able to get out early just because school wasn't in session, but then the other ones are. So we will just have to close the course for the rest of that day. But, the spectator, we were able to do our spectator carts. We didn't get any complaints about that, which, we thought we might get something, but,
Great way to showcase the course too,
yeah,
with the younger kids.
absolutely.
You're bringing in
You're gonna
all
get
kinds
people
of
back.
schools
Yeah.
all over the area.
And they're going to come maybe even practice it beforehand at some
Yep.
point or after.
Yep, and actually, with the kid
Or
from
just
Old Fort.
Come and see it. They may never have played there
Yeah,
before.
they've not.
They go home,
Yeah.
whether, it could be Gibsonburg. You're talking schools that are almost an hour away,
Yep.
some of them. So coming here and playing in that fashion is always a good thing.
Certainly a great opportunity for those kids to play what David and I consider a great course.
Like I said, you guys
Augusta North.
take some of those kids out and caddy for them sometime and give them some tips on how to play a hole.
And I would have to think a lot of the kids came away with, wow, that was sure an interesting course. I
Yeah.
hated hitting all those balls in the water, but, so, especially the 4s and 5s.
Saw a couple of kids
A lot of
teeing off
beginners.
and
A lot of beginners.
got them inside the fence at the water tower there on one.
We had some, the first one, I think the first group off, 2 of the 4 hit the water tower, so we're like, wait, the ping, and we're like, oh, hit the water tower, so.
Awesome.
All right, Jason.
All right, I have some updates from Tandra. She's in a meeting for the Southside Plan. They've got some of the youth helping with the Southside Plan, so they're up in the conference room right now. But just to follow up, we finished up on the 29th of July with our summer break program, and then had a community collaboration day out at the Jackson Street Pier that evening. The plan was to possibly have a boat ride, but as we know, the good time's out for a little bit. So that went off pretty well. We are looking to do our first out-of-school, after-school program now that we have Mills. The tentative date, it says on the agenda that it'd be the 12th, but I think Tandra's looking at the 19th now to get that going, just to have some time to get planned for that. So that would go Monday through Thursday from 4 to 7 p.m. They would bring back some of the different people we had doing programming for the summer break camp, and then looking at adding Harlequins for some acting possibly, and doing some music classes. Homework help volunteers, if anyone in the room's interested in that, for K through 8th grades. And then we also got the calendar from Sandusky City Schools, knowing what all the professional days are going to be, where the kids are going to be out. So we're going to program those days. She has 10 to 6 down as the time for that, so we'll look at how that's going to come together. And then it sounds like she's been in touch with Sandusky City Schools about possible transport, maybe a bus situation, getting kids after school over to Mills from those schools. So we'll be in contact. And then also with Brad Kraft for food, doing some fooding programs. And then also working with the church down the street, so Father's Heart is now in St. Paul. They want to do some out-of-school programming. We would just have something where maybe the kids are done at our building, and then they have something down there where they could go to after that. And then we are planning on a youth summit. We've done a youth summit in years past where we bring in all of our different collaborating groups and organizations, and we host them and have a lunch. We're looking to have a date in October set. So once we have that date, we'll bring it up at the September meeting and let everybody know here when we'll have that youth summit program. That's it from Tandra's updates. I know I'm still getting Barb's gymnastics classes in on rec desk, so those should be in tomorrow. Otherwise, she may hunt me down and kill me because of she just needs those gymnastics classes so they can get signed up for the fall.
September.
Yeah. And we're looking at doing some possible movies at the marina, not kids' movies, just like some water movies that somebody wanted to see, maybe Overboard at the marina, or Jaws, or Captain Ron has been mentioned. So we will take the Fireland screen over there in the fall, sometime in
You
September.
can leave it in the parking lot, Jace?
We'd probably put it up on the,
Oh, put it up on the platform?
Yep. And either show it to the marina, so the people that have, it'd be a boat in, like instead of a driving a boat in, and then maybe turn it around for a later showing of something else, like a double feature type thing. We are in the process of planning we had that cruise last year for volunteers, boards and commission members. We'll have that date out as soon as I get one from Kathy. Kathy's setting that up. So we'll have that, and the boat will be running hopefully soon. I know Joe is maybe even having it running yesterday. They got the new engine in there, and should have a boat soon. Witches Walk has switched their date to a Saturday, and it's not something that we're involved with too closely, other than they want to give us some of the proceeds from that. Sandusky Recreation, they want to help our youth scholarship fund, and so they will be one of their benefactors for that. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be on a Saturday this year. It wasn't a Wednesday. Actually, Cora from the Witches Walk showed up at Community Collaboration Day to just kind of see what it was all about, and to kind of announce that they were going to be providing some funds for our programs, and all the kids were like, "What's that witch doing here in July?" But Tandra explained, and then she did a little presentation on why they were there. But we'll also do the downtown trick or treat, and that would be, I think that's the 29th this year. October 29th would be our date for the downtown trick or treat, and then we try and do a downtown cruise.
What's the other Witches Walk, Jason? They say which?
Theirs is the 22nd. Theirs will be the 22nd.
October 22nd?
Yeah, Saturday, October 22nd.
Good times on that downtown trick or treat.
Downtown trick or treat's usually 11 to 1, 10:30 to 1. I think it's 11. I think we 11 to 1.
11 to 1,
And then
10:30 to 1 or something. Yeah, we just block Columbus Ave off.
We do the parade and the pumpkin drop and the.
Yeah. Cedar Point, are they doing trick or treat
I
this year?
believe they're probably going to be
Theirs is
happy
usually
because
a
it's a Wednesday,
Wednesday.
probably either the 19th or 26th. I have to reach out to them. But they'll probably be happy because Witches Walk usually was that same Wednesday, but
Right.
now it's on a Saturday. So that's where our fall is headed right now. We'll we've got some of the same things coming back, but I think we need some time to breathe after a busy August. And then we'll get the programming going in there. So any questions on any of those particular things? Anything I'm missing? Okay, I guess we're on to open discussion. I had one item. You know how you can, on Facebook, sometimes you'll see somebody say they're doing a birthday fundraiser. I checked with our law and finance department to see if it was okay if I were to do one to raise money for us to buy a pool table, a ping pong table, and a foosball table from Downing Billiards, because they had 3 in there, and she gave me a price on all 3. So we raised $2,500 through donations, and people reached out and said, well, I have a foosball table. And I said, well, you know, what kind of shape is your foosball table in? But we've got basically a brand new foosball table that's getting donated as well. Plus, I think we have another ping pong table that's getting donated as well. It's in like new condition. So that's, by the time it's all said and done, we'll have one very solid ball return pool table from Downing, and then 2 ping pong tables and 2 foosball tables that will go into Mills, into like our game room over there. So that'll be basically a donation to Mills so we've got some of that stuff coming in, so.
Nice to have a room to put something like that, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
it is. And, you know, we'll have some ping pong tournaments and some foosball tournaments, you know, coming up here too, so looking forward to that.
I have a question. Do we plan on, I've had some people ask me about renting the facility. Are we considering doing like a birthday room and like the gym? Okay.
Yep, I think that's part of our planning for September is
Gotcha.
to get those things going, so people have an off-season available, like a gym they can use in conjunction with the game room that we have there and the gym. We just have to get a price point.
I will caution you with like foosball tables and things like that in a room.
Those would all be in
Okay.
the part of the building that's not
Awesome.
open to
Because
that.
we did that in Elyria one time and
Yeah,
it was a mess.
yeah, so those will all be in the game room. The tables
Yeah.
will all be in that way, and then we'll just be
Perfect.
able to rent out the old library
Yeah.
and then the gym space.
And I will tell you just from past, and I'm sure you can too, that people are constantly looking for something because it's inexpensive. It's not like renting a big hall, but yet you can generate some revenue with very little overhead with a staff. You can get away with a part-time person
Yep.
who is sitting there monitoring while they're renting the facility, and you would be amazed.
Granny Pat could be perfect for Saturdays and Sundays.
You could,
Yep.
yeah, anybody. I mean, just.
We'll definitely get a price point that we think, and it definitely would be a discount for city residents, just like we do with the Mylander Pavilion.
Yep.
Jason, I got a question. As far as when we go into the school year, you're talking about renting a gym and that, what about, what's our hours gonna be? Have we looked at that? Is it gonna be like 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock, and then who's gonna man it, or how are we gonna do that? Is it gonna be like rotation, or?
Well, we've talked about, you know, whether we're doing our own programming, which Tandra's going to be doing Tap Fit probably Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then sprinkling in the open gym situations with, you know, I know Ronte's had an interest in the fire, have had an interest in doing some open gyms where we can just have community come in and use the gyms and have those scheduled.
Are we gonna have staff though, I guess is what I'm
We'd
saying.
have to.
You gotta
You have
somebody-
to.
We definitely have to have staff in
Yeah.
there when we have it. And we'd probably, again, close down the rest of the building for those nights. So if we don't have a rental, or we'd schedule them out and schedule the rentals around those. Because I'm guessing most of our rentals would be on Saturdays and Sundays, maybe a Friday night, but.
I know when I worked at Mills in the 90s, Wisconsin worked there too then. We had rentals every night, and it was, some of them were like 5 to 7, then we had another group come in 7:30 to 9:30, and then I had a heck of a time getting them out by the time I'm supposed to be. We got one more game, we tied, you know. It's like, so that's something to be mindful, because you're gonna have to have somebody there fairly late, you know,
Right.
everybody out.
And that would be the plan
And
is,
you'll get a lot of people that want to rent with that
You sure
wooden
do.
floor, especially the older guys, you know, that play.
and we'd also like to schedule some time and bring back some of the employee things that the city used to have, like they'd have open gym for And Cromer's telling me how they go and meet at a gym and go and play basketball, pick up basketball after work sometimes, so we'll figure out some of that too. Definitely. Any other open discussion, questions? It's a quiet.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Let me get the video turned off.